In this video, we're going to be taking a look at the Hot Toys Padmé Amidala, based upon her appearance from Attack of Clones. And this is in a special Attack of Clones 20th anniversary packaging. And we'll show that here in a little bit. So this is an action figure I've been highly anticipating for a long time now. When I originally started collecting Hot Toys back in 2018, Anakin Skywalker was my very first action figure. And I said at that time, I don't want to get a huge Hot Toys collection, but if I could only select maybe 4 or 5 characters that I would own, Padmé Amidala would be one of them. And now she's finally here. And I think she turned out really nice. There is an Attack of Clones Anakin that was released alongside her, but unfortunately I missed out on the pre-order of that. So hopefully either Sideshow gets in stock one of these days and I'll just order it directly, or I'll have to resort to eBay. Time of this video, she is a brand new release. I think she was I got her in the mail a couple weeks ago actually, but I didn't get around to opening her until a few days ago. And also at the time of this video, last I checked, she is also out of stock for the pre-order as well. So at this time, you'll either just have to wait until she's hopefully either in stock, or you'll have to get on eBay to find her. So this is based upon her appearance before the arena battle. She doesn't have a cut-up shirt or anything like that. Would be an interesting exclusive release that Sideshow could do at some point. They have all the parts. All they would have to do is basically do a new shirt for her. Wouldn't be surprised if they would try something like that, kind of like the Dark Side Anakin. But look at that head sculpt. That looks very spot on to Natalie Portman. Some angles it does look a little bit off, and other angles it looks dead on. And we'll get more into the figure here in a bit. I would like to show off this package here first. So on the surface, it's just a typical Hot Toys package. Nice image of the figure there. And really nothing else that can be said about it. But kind of like the 40th anniversary of the Empire Strikes Back Darth Vader, this is actually just a sleeve that's on top here. And it reveals the actual shell for the action figure. It has a very nice 20th or 20 years of Attack of Clones logo there with a clone trooper. Hard to believe it's been 20 years, or well, 22 years now since Attack of Clones. Seems like yesterday I went to go see it in theaters. But at the time this figure was announced, I think it was I know she's been in production for a long while at this point. It may have been even 2020 or 21 when she was originally announced. It's a very nice anniversary package. A nice image of the character there. A little bit of a description about her. Looks like her cape is flowing in the wind. Image on the side there. So before we dive further into the action figure, we will go over some of the accessories. I'll put this back on top first. So in the accessory department, she's actually very light, which I think it's okay. I mean, there's really not a whole lot I can say about it. We'll go over probably one of my favorite accessories, but it is kind of hard to get it pieced together, and that is her headscarf here. Just kind of like her hijab in a way. And it is kind of tricky to get the place right on her. We'll show that off here in a little bit. There is a magnet here, as you can see, and there's a magnet here, and then you're supposed to put it together, and basically all you can see is her eyes. And it is a very nice material. What you do is you just put it on her head, and then you'll wrap this around. As for the rest of her accessories, it's mostly just hands. For these two here, you would think they have a grander purpose than they do, but they really don't. When I bring out the figure, I'll show what the purpose of these are, but it's mostly just a diorama piece. She does have the movable eyes, and I'll touch on that in a little bit as well. It's very tricky to get her eyes to set into place and to stay in place. So this action figure I actually did have to use the tool for. If you've seen my Darth Maul video, I did mention and it's easier for me just to take my finger and move his eyes around. But not so much the case with Padmé. For her hands, so she does have two fists. Nice flesh tone color. It's very realistic. Then she has this more open palm here. I suppose if you wanted her to hold the battle droid blaster with her, well, actually this is her right hand, so not really sure what you'd use it for. I guess for a Naboo blaster, it would fit into this hand. But this hand here is much more appropriate for that, because it has the trigger finger. And that's it for her hands, other than the two she has on, which basically is just the left hand equivalent to this. And then her other right hand equivalent to this one, that's more common for the battle droid blaster. Of course, like most Hot Toys, it does have the extra pins here in case something breaks or something gets loose. One thing I did want to show with the instruction manual here is it does have a very nice image, almost like an Attack of the Clones poster. Anakin and Padmé there as they're about to go out into the dueling arena. Nice image of them there. I did have a chance to meet Hayden Christensen in person recently. Maybe at some point in the future I'll do a video about that experience. And I did get my photo with him as well. Wouldn't mind meeting Natalie Portman at some point. I don't think she really does conventions or anything like that. But maybe someday, we'll see. And as for the rest of the instructions, this is kind of alluding to what I'm talking about with the eyes. If you don't position them right, she kind of has that starry eye or that really wide-eyed look about her, and it doesn't look right at all. It makes her look like she's gone insane or something like that. So you have to be careful how you set it, but I think I got it right now. You can't take her bun off there, and that's to accommodate for the headscarf there. Let's have the, yeah, showing off some of those parts. Holster for the blaster. So that is how her headscarf is supposed to look on her head, but I have a hard time trying to get it to fit into place like that. Maybe we'll try and do that here. We'll just lower this a little bit. So the way you have to position her eyes, you need her looking up at an angle slightly. Just where her irises are just cut off a little bit there, as you can see. If you have her looking totally straight, it doesn't look right at all. She has that wide-eyed look about her. And it doesn't look very good. But I think that's about the most neutral expression you can get her in. And it is kind of tricky because if you take her head off and then you put it back on, there's so little space inside her head there that the ballpoint there might potentially knock her eyes out of place again. So you have to be very careful about that. It took me about 2 or 3 tries to get it right. So for the purposes of this video, I'm not going to actually take the head off because I don't want to potentially mess it up again and then have to go through that process. But you do need to take her head off if you want to take her cape off, because it just slips on over her neck there. But quite frankly, I think she looks better with the cape on anyway. It is a very nice material. She has this bun back here, which I did say is removable. And that's easy enough to just take out. It has this pin here. As for the rest of her outfit, obviously all white and a little bit of gray mixed in. Looks really good though. About as authentic as it can be. She does have her Naboo armbands there. Have a very nice silver looking color. They are not a cloth material. As for the Battle Droid Blaster, I think this is about the first one I've owned in my collection for Hot Toys. It looks pretty good. Wouldn't mind getting a Battle Droid at some point from Hot Toys. I was actually recently in a Hot Toys store in Taiwan, and they had some of the Battle Droids there. I wish I got some video footage of it. I didn't think about it until after I already left, and by then it was too late, and I thought, oh man. And unfortunately, it was a long way to get there, so it was not easy to go back. But if I go back again someday, I'll be sure to get some video footage. The boots there look pretty good. As for her belt, it is a very soft material. I wouldn't mess with that too much because it might get brittle over time. And as you can see, she does have the holstered Naboo blaster there. I don't think there's really a whole lot I could say about it. It does have a shorter barrel, at least compared to the 3 3/4 inch figures. But it is a very nice shiny silver, as you can see. Has a trigger there. Even the grip there is kind of a shiny material. It's like it almost looks wooden with a finish on top. But might need to wipe that down every now and then, just so it can keep that shine about it. Well, it does fit nicely in her holster. So going into the diorama accessories I mentioned previously, these actually go onto her stand, and it's kind of gimmicky. It's not very exciting. All it does is just magnetize into place right there for both sides. Where's the other one here? That's pretty much it. That's all it does. Just add a little bit of oomph to her stand, I suppose. But it's a pretty nice stand. It looks like it's probably in the Geonosis factory. It says Star Wars Padmé Amidala. It doesn't look like they put the accent mark on the nameplate though. On the actual package they did. For headscarf, let's try to see how that looks on her real quick. So the way you're supposed to do it, you take her bun off here. Then you just put it over her head. Like this. I've had a hard time up until this point trying to get the set right on top of her head. It just doesn't look right. Well, that just kind of gives you an idea. I'll have to work with that a little bit more. There is a way as well where you can have it like this, and yeah, that probably looks a little bit better. Something like that, yeah. If I can just get that to stay into place though. Kind of tricky. Just something to mess around with for a little bit. I'm sure I'll do some more videos featuring her at some point. Once again, let's see here. But yeah, other than that, that's pretty much all I can show you about the Hot Toys Padmé here. Once I get Anakin at some point, hopefully here sooner than later, I will do a side-by-side comparison. really getting more into the Hot Toys lately. I have several on pre-order at this point, and the more I get, the more I kind of get addicted to it and find that it's better offering and better value than a lot of the Hasbro products. Still, I can't really get a mountain of these things, but I think I'm up to maybe 15 now at this point. Still consider getting the Clone Wars Anakin at some point. That one seems to be readily available in stock always on Sideshow's site, so perhaps if they run a sale on it, I'll go ahead and get it. Oh, one more thing I'll mention is, of course, she has the crotch stand there, which seems to work alright. Well, yeah, other than that, that's all I can tell you about the Hot Toys Padmé here. So would I recommend her for your collection? I totally would, especially if you're a fan of the Hot Toys figures. Even if you're very selective, I think this is a great candidate for the very few that you might want to own in your collection. Like I said at the time of this video, she's totally out of stock on Sideshow's site, so just keep an eye out for that if you want to buy it directly from them. Or you can just get on eBay, and sometimes eBay does have some good deals where it's basically about the same price as what you would pay on Sideshow. But if you really want one, I wouldn't wait too long, because over time they do get kind of expensive, and I'm sure Padmé would be no exception. But as far as price for the Hot Toys figures go, it's not too bad for her. So very happy to own this. It's definitely the pinnacle of Padmé Amidala for action figures. Spot on to her. Very happy to have this. Worth every penny, in my opinion. Anyways, I hope you enjoyed taking this initial look at the Hot Toys Padmé. Stay tuned for plenty more videos in the future. There'll always be more to come. If you haven't already, please like the video and subscribe to the channel. I always appreciate all your support. And check out some links in the description if you haven't done so already. As always, thanks for watching.